and a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We are on site, on location in the great state of Florida, and of course we are inside the Great Lakes Honda City Travel Studios. I'm here with Papa Joe.
That's me.
And we are here to talk about many great things. Believe it or not, folks, we are back into the cross of Major League Baseball, college football, and the NFL seasons all together. Are you ready? Are you excited? I hope you are. So I cannot believe this, and I'm looking forward to it so very much. So PJ and I, as you know, we talk about college football. We talk about the NFL, baseball, horse racing, a little bit of everything. Now with baseball and football crossing, we're going to do baseball in hour one, football in hour two. So in today's broadcast inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we'll be talking about baseball first as we edge closer to the postseason. And then from there, we will get into our conversation on college football as well as on the NFL. So we'll be talking about all of that. We'll be going to our college football week one picks. PJ and I will let you know how we did in week one. We'll make our week two picks for college football, and we'll do our first ever, our first NFL picks of the 2025-26 season as we head into week one. So with that being said, we thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City open for you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, and you will have them there for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Get a sneak peek of all their inventory by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. So with that being said, Mr. PJ, as we're in the flesh here and I can see him, look at that. So your baseball thoughts here as we are closer and closer. We are just about 100. We're around the 140 games in of a 162 game season here in 25.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you down here.
I'm
sure you got a lot of things to do, a lot of things to say. We can run through the standings real quick.
Yeah.
American League, you got the Blue Jays are up by 2.5 over the Yankees and the Red Sox, which is good. American League Central, we got the Tigers up 9.5 over the Royals. Royals got an outside shot of getting in to the playoffs. They had to play a little bit better going down the stretch. American League West, the Astros and the Mariners are going to fight it out. The Astros are up by 3 games. Good baseball to watch these guys. National League, the Phillies are 6 games ahead of the Mets. Ooh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. The Phillies are putting it together at the end of the year. They got 5 or 6 great guys that can hit over 280, hit home runs, RBIs. I love the Phillies. Love them. Matter of fact, I think they're a lukewarm pick for the World Series over the Dodgers, but that's later. National League Central, the Brewers and the Cubs are going to fight it out. The Brewers are up by 5 over the Cubs. Watched the Cubs the other night. Watched the Brewers the other night. That kid, Misnowski or something like that, the real young kid, he got bombed, so that's not good for his ego.
How about the Reds are now 15 games behind the Brewers?
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. They're a good ball club, but it's too bad. Got the West. Got the Dodgers are up by 2.5 over the Padres. Giants, I think, are out of it. The Dodgers and Padres are going to go down to the wire. So, with that, if we go into wild card.
Yeah. Got it up right here.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talk about the wild card. We got Toronto, Detroit, and Houston leading their divisions.
Yeah. Toronto is above everybody right now.
That's correct. Got the Yankees, I think, are comfortably in, as well as Boston. Seattle's on the outside looking in. Texas Rangers maybe a little bit close. If someone puts a run together at the end of the year, it's going to be beneficial to them. If they got some pitching that they can rely on and throw some relievers in there and win some games that are close, and they got a shot. I still like Kansas City an awful lot, albeit...
Well, they're closer now. They're 2.5 games out.
But they haven't played well this year. They haven't played as well as they did last year. They had pitching with Seth Lugo, and Bobby Witt, of course, carries them hitting-wise. Sensational shortstop.
Yeah.
Boy, the range that kid's got.
Well, and I want to say this, of the teams in the American League in the wild card hunt, there's nobody that's mathematically out of it yet. Of course, the White Sox are 22 games back, so they're almost out of it. But I do want to make mention of this. The Athletics are less than 10 games out of the wild card for everything they've been the last couple of years for a team that loses 100 or over 100 of 162 games. For them to be in the place they're in right now, to be above multiple teams, the Orioles, the Twins, and the White Sox, I just want to give some credit where credit is due, that the Athletics are less than double digits out of the wild card. Not saying they're going to make it, but they're less than 10 games out of it. They're not the worst team in the American League. So they have done some good things this year, and they do have some young talent.
The two kids that are vying for the Rookie of the Year, Lintz, I think, and Jacob Wilson, the shortstop. So you're right about that. Athletics can put some pitching together. Maybe they can sneak in there, but it looks pretty solid. I mean, we got six teams here for the American League. National League, got the Cubs, the Padres, and the Mets are sneaking in. The Brewers, the Phillies, and the Dodgers have their division. The Cubs look like they're solid at 5.5. San Diego 1.5. Cincinnati, the Mets are on a borderline. Cincinnati's pretty close.
Yeah, Cincinnati was a game or a game and a half back. The Mets now have 4.5 games at the time that we're talking.
Right.
On Cincinnati, which is huge right now.
That's right. That's right. Arizona, of course, is hanging in there, Daniel.
Yeah.
6 games back. But they got beat the other night by a home run in the bottom of the 10th inning by Will Smith.
They have been beating up the Brewers. They beat up on the Brewers.
Yep.
They were able to beat the Rangers recently.
But they're only 69-71. That's not even 500 ball.
Yeah.
I watched the game. I watched that game that Corbin Carroll slugged a 3-run homer, and they live and die by the bat, by him, Pasquantino, and the big catcher. I forgot his name.
Yeah. So I mean, I do want to, when we look at the National League, coming from the American League and looking at the National League, the Mets have been holding strong for that last playoff spot, the third and final wild card spot. The Cubs have been in the first wild card spot. The Padres are in that middle spot. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers have found a way. The Dodgers had been leading. Then it was the Mets. Then it was the Phillies. Now the Brewers have been commanding here. And even with a bunch of losses to the Arizona Diamondbacks, they still have multiple game lead on the Philadelphia Phillies. So your thoughts on the Milwaukee Brewers? Are you surprised that they're the best team in the National League right now?
Well, they surprised me last year because they switched managers. One of my favorite managers, Craig Counsell, was there for years. Manager of the year. Really smart guy. Played the game for many years. And for some reason, I guess maybe he just wasn't comfortable there anymore. Maybe he couldn't drive him as hard as he could. So what does he do? He flips over to the Cubs. And right now he's the leading manager in baseball. They're paying him $8 million a year. So, I mean, he can manage. But what surprised me last year is the Milwaukee stayed strong without him. And this year they're blossoming. Now, I don't know much about their manager, but he's made a lot of good moves. And he's got some great players, especially one of my favorite ones is Christian Yelich. He's finally doing the things that he did for Miami when he was the most valuable player. He's been hurt a lot. He's a slight guy. He's tall, but not very bulky, and he gets dinged up a lot. So I think with him leading the way, they got some good pitching. Woodruff is doing a good job for them, and of course the kid Wisnowski, who's the rookie. They got to be careful. You don't throw their arms out. Just be good. You've already got things wrapped up. Don't try to overdo it. If you want a pitcher to go 4 innings and have a reliever come in for 2, another reliever 1 all the way down the line, the way Los Angeles, there's nothing wrong with it. You gotta play for the postseason. You got to be smart, pitching and defense, Daniel.
Well, when you say play for the postseason, we have 4 teams that are in close proximity to each other in the wild card standings in the American League. And of those 4 teams, at the time that we're talking here, Seattle's wrapping up the final spot. Texas Rangers are close. And the Royals and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are less than 4 games out of it. The Royals are less than 3 games out of it. The Rangers are less than 2 games from the Seattle Mariners, where they are in the same division of the AL West. So here's my question to you, PJ, and I put it up on our X here at CallDT.
Right.
That's CALLDT. Just put this poll up. The question for you is, on X, the former Twitter, make sure to follow us and vote in this poll at CallDT, CALLDT. Feet to the fire. Who makes the 2025 Major League Baseball wild card out of these four teams if you had to pick one? The Rangers, the Mariners, the Royals, or the Rays?
Wow. Put me on a spot there. I have to say Seattle. They've been hitting well. I think they got a most valuable American League most valuable player.
Started to come in.
Yeah.
Mariners and Royals.
Yeah. They have I think we can call this one. Cal Raleigh is hitting home runs and RBIs at a fantastic rate. Yeah. I think he's now moved into the league for the American League most valuable player. Aaron Judge, for whatever reason, he was out for 10 games a couple of weeks ago. He's coming back a little bit, but he's not the threat that he is up there. You don't look over to the other manager's dugout. You don't see this four anymore. Because he's struggling. So they'd rather pitch to him.
Yeah, and I do want to make a note here when we talk about the Seattle Mariners. Cal Raleigh is having an historic season, and so what he was able to do, he hit his 48th home run in a season, which tied him with Salvador Perez in 2021 for the most in a single season for a player with at least 75% of his games as a primary catcher. And then he upped the ante with his 49th home run, so he now has the record. We figured we would see him do this. Cal Raleigh now has the most single-season home runs for a primary catcher, meaning somebody who has played catcher in at least 75% of their games. He has the most home runs ever for a Major League Baseball catcher, getting to 49 in his first inning. Raleigh ambushed a 91.7 mile per hour middle fastball from the A's lefty Jacob Lopez and sent it 448 feet, longest of the season for him and the longest of his career from the right side. And then in the second, he jumped on a first pitch changeup from Lopez and sent that one 412 feet off the out-of-town scoreboard in left field. Both were two-run shots, and so now we know that Cal Raleigh has the most home runs in a single season by a primary catcher, meaning someone who has spent 75% at least of their games playing the catcher position. I think that this pushes him even forward into being named what I think should be the American League MVP this
No
year.
doubt about it. No, a couple of weeks ago we talked about that, and I prognosticated that he should because Aaron Judge is struggling. And, we were watching Aaron Judge have a historic season when the season started. He was batting right around 400. He was hitting home runs and globs, RBIs, winning games for the Yankees. And the pace that he was on was too frantic and too hectic. Even though he's a big guy at 6'7", 275 pounds, he breaks down, and he broke down. How a big guy like that breaks down, I don't know, but he came back off the RL list for 10 days, and he hasn't been bopping the ball the way he was. So we're talking about Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh not only is a consummate catcher, he's also a switch hitter. Now, you don't see too many catchers that switch hit. This guy can hit home runs from both sides of the plate. He's definitely going to be the most valuable player in the American League. I think that's almost assured. I don't care if Judge hits 5 more home runs and drives in another 10 runs. It's not going to make any difference. Raleigh is almost single-handedly carrying his team to the playoffs. He will be there because Seattle will be there because of him.
And the poll that we put up, feet to the fire, who makes the 2025 Major League Baseball wild card out of the 4 teams that we gave you, the Texas Rangers, the Seattle Mariners, the Kansas City Royals, or the Tampa Bay Rays. Early voting is for Cal Raleigh's Mariners, as well as the Royals that PJ has been high on for the last couple of years.
That's right.
It is 50-50 between the two of them. Another poll that I just put up on X, the former Twitter, at CallDT, that's CALLDT, should Cal Raleigh be named the 2025 American League MVP? You could vote yes or no on our X channel at CallDT. That's CALLDT. Make sure to follow us there when you're there and to vote in our polls, as we both believe that Cal Raleigh should be the MVP of the American League. Listen, Aaron Judge, we know he's good. We know he's gotten it before, but this year belongs to Cal Raleigh.
Right. And when you look at these sluggers, Raleigh leads with 51 homers and 108 RBIs. Aaron Judge has 43 homers, 97 RBIs. A big surprise here, Junior Caminero from Tampa Bay, of all teams, has 40 homers and 100 RBIs. Remarkable.
Yeah.
Riley Green, left field for Detroit, 32 homers, 103 RBIs. These guys lead their teams. These guys are all, except for Junior Caminero. Joe Adele won't be playing either.
And after he hit the 49th and historic Major League Baseball record for a catcher, he now has 51, as you mentioned, for Cal Raleigh.
That's right.
So at the time that we're talking, he's almost 10 home runs above Aaron Judge this year.
That's right. That's right.
It's not like we're talking about Raleigh making history and Judge has more home runs.
Right.
Raleigh is above him
right.
in home runs and made history.
Yep. Most definitely. He's playing better. And he's And
it's no offense to Judge. I just think this is Raleigh's year.
You heard me last year bitch about the most valuable player being a player.
You were woofing.
Not just a designated hitter.
But he's an enigma, and you know that no one has been able to pitch and hit like him ever in the history of baseball, including Babe Ruth.
I know that, but Judge has not played the field since he came off the RL.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Shohei.
No, Shohei. Shohei's in the other league. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Judge, if he loses it's because he's not playing baseball. Raleigh is playing baseball. The catcher's the most valuable player on a team. He sees the whole field in front of him. He calls the plays. He calls the pitchers. He does it all. And Raleigh is that good. You go to the National League, and of course, Kyle Schwarber, I think, is going to wrap his MVP up from Philadelphia. He's got 49 homers, 119 RBIs. My goodness. Shohei is doing well. He's not doing as well as he did last year. He's got 46 homers and 87 RBIs. Soto making a late run here with 37 RBIs, 37 homers, 91 RBIs. And Pete Alonso from your Mets, 33 homers, 113 RBIs.
Yeah.
Those guys are tough. They're good. And Schwarber is a beast out there. He can hit both sides. He's only a left-handed hitter, but he hits left-handed pitching, right-handed hitting just as good. And I think he's going to be announced as the most valuable player when the season's over.
Yeah, and like you were talking about, I mean, you and I speak a lot about Kyle Schwarber and, right around 50 home runs that he has, like you said, and to have almost 130 hits and RBIs 119. All the work that he's put in, I mean, Schwarber should definitely be on that list. We know Shohei has gotten a victory by pitching 5 innings. We know that he's come back, and we've seen him on the mound for the first time since him having to go through his second surgery.
Yep.
And we also know that Shohei Ohtani continues to hit home runs. He's just a few behind Schwarber. So as good as Shohei is and as good as Judge is, and as much as they could both repeat as the National League and American League MVPs respectively, I think this year Schwarber makes a case in the National League, and like we talked about, Raleigh makes a case in the American League. And again, it's not like Shohei and Aaron Judge haven't gotten there before, and it's not like they can't do it again. But I think as good as Shohei and Judge are, I think we need to make sure we give the flowers to Cal Raleigh and Kyle Schwarber. And Schwarber is the difference in sudden death in the, keep in mind with this too, in the American League and National League All-Star game, he was the difference of hitting more home runs, so that in that penalty kick type of thing they do in baseball now, he hit multiple home runs to make sure the National League won in the All-Star game as well.
He did. Now, Ohtani, I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's coming back pitching this year. He's done fairly well. His last start, he got over 5 innings. They're being careful with him. Mm-hmm. But his ERA is over 4. So he strikes out a lot of people. Big deal. He's not the pitcher that he was. Now, as I told you last week, why are they even messing with the guy?
Yeah.
Leave him alone. If you need him in the playoffs, he'll be ready. But don't run him up there every 6 days just to see if he can, get an MVP or maybe help his own cause. You don't need it. He's a fearful hitter at leading off.
Yeah.
He's dangerous. So, Mr. Roberts from Papa Joe, take the kid out, let him rest him for the rest of the season. What do you got? 20 more games to play. You gonna pitch him out there 3 more times probably? Not worth it, Daniel.
Well, I think their concern is that they're not the top team. They're not they're in a place right now where if they fall out of the top 2, they're gonna have to play in the wild card.
That's right.
And so they're gonna use all the tanks they have, and the biggest tank they got is Shohei Ohtani.
It's true.
I do want you to share with everyone
Uh-oh.
who is 6th in the National League in home runs at the time we're talking.
Got to be Corbin Carroll.
It is Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah. And he's a little guy,
shout out
too.
to Corbin Carroll, who had a fantastic 2023 season that saw the team make it to the World Series, and I was there for that with my dad at the Game 3 at Chase Field out in Phoenix, Arizona. And then he had a little bit of a rough season last year and has come back this year to be in the top 6 in home runs.
Yep. He's still not hitting as well as I thought he would. He's hitting around 245, 250. A kid of his caliber needs to be up around 300. Pitching-wise, if we go back to the National League, a lot of good pitchers out there, and we always talk about the kid Paul Skeens from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Now, Pittsburgh's out of it. They've been out of it for a long time. But this kid comes along. He's got an even record of 9-9. He's got a 2.05 ERA and striking out 187 players. He's only pitched 18, 19 games. This kid's the future for Pittsburgh. I love to see him pitch. Got a lot of pitches. Those 5 pitches for strikes. You got Luzardo from Phillies, who's having a good year. He's leading their team. Zach Wheeler, unfortunately, is going to be out for the rest of the year and maybe next year too, because he blew his arm out.
But he has been leading the entire National League.
Yeah, he was, but he's not going to win anything.
Yeah, 10-5 this season.
Yeah, right.
2.71 ERA.
Excellent job, but he's not pitching anymore.
Yeah.
What else we got?
We got Logan Webb as well. He's
Yeah.
been doing all right for himself, 13-9.
Yeah. San Francisco, though. I'm looking for a guy that Dylan Cease, I think, is one of the best pitchers out there, but he's not doing anything for San Diego. He's 6-11, 4.81 ERA. Yamamoto is someone we can talk about from the Dodgers. He's 11-8, 2.82 ERA. It looks like he's their leading pitcher.
Yeah.
They got Glasgow is throwing good. the Kelfshaw is amazing. He's still pitching. He's still pitching good. It's incredible. Let's go to the American League. I think we already did.
Well, I went to the American League for pitching, so now we're looking at Garrett Crochet as well as Tariq Skubal.
Those two are going to battle for the Cy Young Award for the American League. Crochet is absolutely filthy. I saw him pitch 7 innings, give up 2 hits, struck out 10. He is absolutely filthy. 14-5 with a 2.6 ERA. Skubal, who was last year's Cy Young Award winner, got a shot to do it again this year. He's 12-4, 2.18 ERA. Now the difference is Skubal is pitching for Detroit, who's already going to be in it.
Right.
Crochet is throwing for Boston, and they're not in nothing yet. So they got to come in. They're going to do it the wild card. So if Crochet does his job, which he is, and Skubal does their job, they're going to both battle it out for a Cy Young. I had Hunter Brown in there for a long time from Houston, but he's fallen by the wayside a little bit. Still a good pitcher, 10-7, 2.34 ERA. The Yankees lost Garrett Cole, we know that.
Yeah.
But Carlos Rodon has come on and had a great year. He's 15-7 with 3.18 ERA. He's got a rubber arm. He pitches every 5 days, doesn't complain. If they hit him in the first inning, he still grinds it out to get 5 or 6 innings. It's great to watch. I watched Max Fried last night for the Yankees. Max Fried is 15-5 with a 2.98 ERA. He's going to be in that conversation too. Why? Because he had a no-hitter going in 6 innings last night. And he's leading the Yankees. So you got Rodon and Max Fried leading the Yankees for the Cy Young Award. Fried is 15-5. Terrace Skubal is 12-4. Crochet is 14-5. Those 3 guys are going to vie for this Cy Young in American League. Wouldn't be surprised that either one of those pitchers or any of those pitchers or all of them were pitching right down the stretch. A lot of times, maybe situations like this, the manager would say, "Hey, can you go on 4 days rest, not 5 days rest?" That's the pitcher's going to say, "Well, I can try." That's not the answer you want to hear.
Yeah.
If the manager says, "Hey, 4 days rest, can you do it? Yes or no?" Yes. So he goes out there and throws his arm out. What have you got?
Oh, so in our polls, and I just put up another one, to give you some thoughts and some updates here, feet to the fire, who would make the 2025 Major League Baseball wild card out of these 4 teams if you had to pick? No one has picked the Rangers. 25% Royals, 25% Rays in the lead right now. Seattle Mariners with 50%, which is what PJ said he would go with. And then should Cal Raleigh be named the 2025 American League MVP? Early voting is 50-50, yes and no. And I just put this one up. Who of these 2 would you vote for to win the 2025 American League Cy Young Award? Garrett Crochet or Tariq Skubal? And that vote is now open. Just a few seconds, we are into that vote. And all of these polls are available on X, the former Twitter, @CallDT. Follow us and make sure to vote every time we put a poll up at CALLDT.
Good.
So we're going to take a step aside.
Should have put Max Fried in there too.
Well, between these 2, I want to get people's thoughts. So we're going to take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Any more baseball from you, or we want to go to football?
We can go to football.
All right.
Well, we got to go over the... No, football is fine.
We'll go over our picks. So with that being said, we will take a step aside inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When we come back, PJ and I will take a look at our leaderboard, see how we were doing in our first picks of the season in college football. Week 1, we'll see how we fared. We'll make our Week 2 picks, and then later on in this broadcast, a wake-up call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we'll make our first NFL picks of the 2025-26 season. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. It could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing, an amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in. And then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Travel Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I am in my second home and second hub of Wake Up Call and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, which is the great state of Florida, here with Papa Joe, who is with me every Thursday, but now we get to be arm in arm today as we have brought you baseball first, and now it's time for us to jump in to college football. I want to thank Great Lakes Honda City for all the work that they do. They're open Monday through Saturday for sales and service, new and used vehicles, buy and lease, and get a sneak peek by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com.
I'm going to say something before we get into football.
What's up?
If you butt your head down a little bit, you see those 3 beautiful paintings back behind you.
Oh, yeah.
That's called Richard Stone Reeves, a very famous thoroughbred artist. One of them is Genuine Risk, one of them is Seattle Slew, and the other was Affirmed in Aladar. And I was number 704 of 850. I got 3 of them up there, and they're very valuable, and guess my family will take it when I'm gone, I guess.
Not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I know.
We got the horse. Yeah, and you love your horses.
Yes, I do.
PJ. And to shout out Mark West, who said he had a bone to pick with New York media that doesn't cover horse racing, I told him, well, guess what? On Wake Up Call, we do. Because of that guy.
Well, let me say something about that. Saratoga is closed for the summer.
Yeah.
This is hard to believe, folks. But they just closed. They had 41 days, racing days. They handled, which means they bet, over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Which averages almost $21 million a day. Remarkable. What's happening in New York racing, and to refer to your friend here, a little bit of news for him.
Yeah.
One of the biggest projects in the country, and actually in horse racing, is happening down in Long Island, where Belmont Park is being rebuilt. They've knocked down the old Belmont Park. They're putting up a new Belmont Park where the train can go right to the racetrack. They're going to have 4 different tracks because of this new Tapeta stuff that some of the southern tracks are going. So they'll have two turf tracks, 1 dirt track, and 1 Tapeta track for any horse that can run on any different surface. It's going to cost $600 million to build it, and it's going to be supposed to be open by September of 26, and it's going to be year-round racing. Aqueduct will not be open anymore. They'll go the 2 months to Saratoga because that's history. So for 10 months a year, even in the winter, they'll be racing at Belmont, and that will be a worldwide event along with as a national event to bet. It's amazing what's happening. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, I mean, make sure that you make your way out and go see some horse races. Go see Saratoga when it is open and enjoy this. And shout out to the Lally family, as I know you love your horses, Lucky and Beast Mode, and everyone involved. So, with that being said, from those horses to the teams that had some horsepower in the first week of college football, PJ and I are going to take a look at our board here and see how we did. So the college football picks that we made for week 1 of the 2025-26 season, PJ and I went through and made our picks. So I'm going to let you know exactly how everything shook out here in the picks that we did make. And so going back to week 1 in that schedule, this is what it looked like for us. We picked Georgia Tech in their game, and that game was up against the Colorado Buffaloes. They were on the road going up against Colorado, PJ. And going back to that game and that matchup that they had with Colorado, Georgia Tech was able to secure their victory here. And, I mean, Colorado doesn't have Travis Hunter anymore, who won a Heisman. Colorado does not have Shedeur Sanders. Colorado lost by a touchdown, 27-20. Any thoughts on this game as Haynes King and the crew get it done? And we both picked them to win, and we were correct.
True. If I remember years ago, and really in recent memory, Paul Johnson used to be the coach or the
I
coach
got to speak with him. Got to speak with him a bunch
for Georgia Tech, and he's always used to run the ball, and run the ball. He's run that triple auction that they had at Army and Navy for so many years. Georgia Tech ran the ball, kept the ball away from the big players from Colorado. I don't look for either one of these teams to make a dent in anything. Colorado, I don't even know where they play, what league they're in anymore.
They're back in the Big 12. They left the Pac-12.
Okay.
And went back to where they were in the Big 12 as a founding member.
Okay.
So we both got one correct.
Right.
Here with Georgia Tech. The next game, Florida played a elementary school.
My goodness.
And in this elementary school game that the Florida Gators had, the Gators were able to win this matchup, PJ. So I will make sure that we have a little surprise that we're going to be doing. We're not on the screen right now, but I want to make a note here for the Florida Go Gators, who won their game against Long Island University 55-0, which puts us in a place where we can circle the Gators on our screen, and we can show you on the screen that we have So I'm gonna have PJ and I put them on at the same time. So we're gonna show you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go Gators. So we picked the Gators. I am wearing this. I know people are going to freak out because I'm from Syracuse, New York. They're going to say, Dan, what are you doing with a Gator hat on? Well, this is another dad to me, Papa Joe. And I wear this in support of him. I'm excited for DJ Lagway. I'm excited for the season in Gainesville for the Florida Gators and beyond. So this is to honor PJ, and for everybody that's worried, my hometown of Syracuse is orange and blue, and so are the Gators, so I'm still wearing orange and blue.
Okay, well, folks, don't look at that game as anything that's monumental at all. Long Island didn't even get 100 total yards.
Yeah.
Florida made no mistakes. They played 75 kids. Daniel said it's a little exhibition game, and it's. I found out that Florida paid Long Island University $550,000
to lose.
To come down to the grade.
Well, how about this? They paid them $550,000, and they beat them 55 to nothing.
That's right.
So it looks just like $550,000. Right. So that victory we both had here in our Week 1 recap picks. The other one we got wrong in a close matchup of Death Valley versus Death Valley. LSU came into Clemson and were able to come away with the victory. I was watching this game when I was in Atlanta covering the AFLAC kickoff games between Syracuse, Tennessee, and Virginia Tech, South Carolina, ACC, SEC. This was also ACC, SEC. Clemson hosting LSU, and going into the game, the question was, what's Brian Kelly going to do? And then toward the end of the game, they talked about how many games LSU has blown under Brian Kelly when they were up, and they ended up losing toward the end. This game was a low-scoring game, under 20 for both teams, and LSU was able to stave off anything that Clemson could do at home. LSU was ranked 9th at the time, Clemson 4, and LSU defeated Clemson. The question was, how far do they fall Clemson? Well, I'll put it to you like this. If Ohio State only drops one spot when they lose and Penn State doesn't move, then the reality of it all, too, and I'm not saying here because Penn State and Ohio State won this season, but they don't really shift. And so how far should Clemson fall losing to a top 10 team? Well, if you're a top 10 team losing to a top 10 team, you should probably stay in the top 10.
You do.
So Clemson only lost by 7, but LSU won. You and I got it wrong. Any thoughts?
I know, but this kid Nussmeier for LSU is going to score a lot of points for score a lot of touchdowns for LSU. Brian Kelly has the he's a good coach. I mean, maybe he's not as good as he was at Notre Dame, but he's very, very good. And I think he's number 4 or 5 in recruiting this year. So both of these teams will match up in the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, and I think Clemson, for those of you worried about Clemson and what can they do and blah, 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 they're going to be fine. I think Clemson's going to have a good season.
Right.
They just didn't have an answer to LSU in a low-scoring game. Next game we have up was one of 2 games on Sunday. I was at that Virginia Tech, South Carolina game, as I stated, and the other game that was on Sunday was Notre Dame and Miami. This game is 2 top 10 teams as well. We all know that Notre Dame is not going to fall out of the top 10, so you shouldn't have Clemson do it either. Now, Notre Dame is in the ACC for all sports except for football, so when you see Notre Dame, Miami in any other sport, it's an ACC game. But in this, it's independent versus ACC. Mm-hmm. Miami wins the game 27-24 in Carson Beck's first game back from injury.
Yep.
Carson Beck's first game as a Miami Hurricane, and Notre Dame's first game for starting quarterback C.J. Carr, who is a true freshman. A nice game here, PJ, and C.J. Daniels made one of the best catches of this entire season, arguably. When all is said and done, will he still have a top 10 catch in this Week 1?
True.
We both had Miami. We were both right.
Miami looks like they're going to be real strong this year. Cristobal has been messing around for a couple of years, trying to find his South Florida boys that he could get on the team. And frankly, Cristobal doesn't even have to recruit outside of Miami. The state is so loaded with football players. Now, they could be roguish, but, that's Cristobal's problem. But Carson Beck came in, did what he was supposed to do. You're not going to see him falter at all this year. I don't care who they play. Even if they play Florida State, you're going to see a really, really good quarterback who's going to be drafted high, period.
Yeah, Carson Beck, a year under his belt. Hopefully that'll help him out with his draft stock as he moves forward. The next game was the only game on Monday night, which Bill Belichick is used to. However, he's not used to being on the losing side of a game. He lost in this one 48-14. PJ went with TCU. I was going to go TCU, but I was like, hey, Bill Belichick, Monday night, it's his first game back. How could he be on the losing side of this with the only game on television, and not just the nation but the world looking at him? However, they did lose after the first series where they looked good. They had 8 plays go 73 yards. Their next 3 drives combined for 9 plays, negative 10 yards. Yep. And they ended up losing this game to a TCU team that was just so much better in every facet once they got comfortable in the game here. I get this one wrong. PJ gets it right. Your thoughts?
Well, TCU was a better team, obviously, and Belichick recognized that. They outplayed them. They outcoached them. This was hard to see. I mean, I like to see Belichick with his little hoodie on the sideline doing his thing, but he didn't look like. I didn't say he's not in control. Of course, he's in control, yeah. But I think things are a little bit overwhelming for him right now, because he's going to be playing teams that are almost professional teams. So, he's got a tough schedule ahead of him. He's in a tough league. He's got to play Florida State and Clemson. So, he's up against it. And I like TCU's quarterback Hoover. I think he's going to be around. Yeah. I think he'll probably be a high draft choice too. Looked like he loved throwing the ball. He moved left, right, upside, all over the place. He did a good job.
Thoughts about the fact that you mentioned that North Carolina has to play Clemson? How'd they work a schedule out where they have a bye week, Clemson, and then another bye week? They're playing Clemson on an island.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how they do that either.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Some people's bye weeks are 8 weeks apart.
Yes.
These are on the opposite ends of Clemson here for North Carolina and Bill Belichick's first season back.
It was a terrible loss.
Yeah, it was not a good game. Now Tennessee, who was ranked 24 in the country, played up against Syracuse in the Aflac kickoff game. I was on site on location for this game. This game started off on the side of Tennessee. Your leader in passing yards in the game was Steve Angeli, albeit on the losing team here. He was able to lead in passing yards in his debut for Syracuse. It's only the second game that he was a starter. The only other time he was a starter was his first season at Notre Dame, where he started the bowl game. That was the only other time that we saw Steve Angeli under center as a starter. This was his first time to start for Syracuse, and in the game, Tennessee started off 17-0. Then Syracuse equaled them in the second quarter, 14-14, and Syracuse is right there with them, being within 1 point, 7-6, in the next 2 quarters after the halftime break, which means that after going down 17-0, Syracuse scored 26, and on the other side of it, we saw 28 scored by Tennessee. So in the after the first quarter, in those last 3 quarters, it was 28-26, which obviously shows more than the 45-26 that as the game went on, Syracuse at least made it interesting against an SEC school who made the college football playoff, albeit with a different quarterback last year.
Good. I'm going to be afraid to play Tennessee this year. Florida's going to have a tough time against that team. Syracuse looked okay. I mean, it's not, I think the majority of football people knew that they were going to have a tough game in Tennessee, and probably were a legitimate 8 to 10 point underdog. But they played well. They scored well. I think he got a good quarterback, Angeli. Yeah. That was a good quarterback. A good conversation we had with him the other day. I think that Fran Brown will use him, and if you guys can throw for 3,000 yards and don't fumble a lot, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, Steve Angeli, he said he hates losing more than anything, and him and Fran Brown both dislike it heavily, and we'll see how they respond this weekend with their first home game and Steve Angeli's first game inside of the Dome for the Syracuse Orange. The next game we have up was that other game at the Aflac kickoff. 2 awesome games, not 1 but 2. I got spoiled. Been thinking about these games for a while now. Talked to Gary Stokin, the president and CEO of Peach Bowl Inc. that oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the Aflac kickoff. and the ACC, SEC thing, what they do, and the Aflac kickoff, the importance of having ACC, SEC, because they used to have that in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, but because the Peach Bowl is either a quarterfinal or semifinal game in the college football playoff now, their opponents are determined by seeding as opposed to them picking them. So they created the Aflac kickoff game to stay true to the ACC, SEC matchups they used to have in their bowl game. So they have the essence of their history while also being a part of the college football playoffs road to the national champion. So that second game, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, this game was a baseball game. Through the first half, it was 10-8, and then South Carolina woke up, and only 3 points scored by Virginia Tech in the second half, and 14 scored in the second half by South Carolina. We saw Lenora Sellers score a touchdown with his feet on a 16-yard run where he was darting back and forth and getting into the end zone, and then we saw him air it out. We both got it right. South Carolina takes care of Virginia Tech.
Lenora looks really, really good. I'm afraid to play this team, too. It was a good game for maybe the second half. First half was kind of boring. But Virginia Tech has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, so South Carolina, I feel good about them this year. I think that they're going to be a sneaky pick to be in the conversation for the college football playoff as we go forward. The next game that we had was Texas versus Ohio State. Texas, the number one ranked team in the country, and Arch Manning has been hyped as the starting quarterback of Texas since he was 4 years old. And then we have Ohio State on their side. This was another low-scoring game, like Clemson and LSU. Ohio State wins this game 14-7 in a rematch of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic College Football Playoff semifinal game that I was on site, on location for, to interview and watch these two teams go up against it, where Ohio State advanced to the national championship and eventually to become the national champion over Notre Dame in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where I was this past weekend. So kind of full circle moment for me, ending last season at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, starting this season at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. And these two teams I got to see and root to that at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic at AT&T Stadium, the home of the Cowboys. I called it the best game played in Cowboy Stadium all season last year, and Ohio State wins this game. We were both wrong. Arch Manning leads both quarterbacks in passing yards in this as the true starter for the first time ever. 170 passing yards, but his team loses by a touchdown. We got it wrong. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you saw two professional teams out there. They're that good. They're both loaded. I mean, Ryan Day has done a great job with Ohio State. I really wasn't a fan of his a couple of years ago. Last year I warmed up to him. I listened to him a little bit more. He does have a lot of good things to say and do. He does work for the kids, which is great. Both of these teams, we'll see them again, I think, in the playoffs. I think Texas has to come back, and whoever was the offensive coordinator wasn't putting the ball in Arch Manning's hands enough times. He didn't make the kind of plays that when you play a good team like Ohio State, I mean, they're not going to make any mistakes. They got a solid defensive front, fast linebackers, brutal safeties and cornerbacks. You got to make a move. I mean, if you don't make a move, you're going to lose the game like you did.
Yeah, and so, I mean, in this matchup, we saw Texas just not being able to respond here, and ultimately it goes to Ohio State. Ohio State's quarterback, Sayan, love that that's his name, and I got his rookie card before he was even named the starter, so I'm excited about that, and I believe I sold my Arch Manning, the only Arch Manning card that I had so far, and hopefully I will have another one in my possession very soon. But a shout out to both of these teams, as I think they'll both be in the conversation for the college football playoff, and we got that one wrong. The last one we got wrong, PJ, Alabama, Florida State, to bring even more parallels to my history. The first kickoff game I ever went to, when it was called the Chick-fil-A kickoff instead of the Aflac kickoff, was there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. It featured Alabama and Florida State as the first game of the season. And here, in their first game of the season, Alabama played Florida State these years later, but it was in Tallahassee. Florida State wins. Tommy Castellanos, going into the game over a month ahead of time, had made statements about this game. He doubled down at the ACC kickoff. I was in the front row listening to him when he said, like, hey, yeah, like he doesn't mean anything toward them. He just believes in his team. He backed it up. He talked it. They walked it. Florida State wins. Mike Norvell, who I've known for many years, gets the victory 31-17. And it almost feels like last season is almost completely forgiven with just one victory. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a huge upset. Although, you know, we've been talking about Mike Norvell for years when he was in, where was he at?
Memphis.
Memphis, right. And he got the job at Florida State, and it was going to be tough to begin with, which he knew that. He lost a lot of games. Florida State, I think they're going to be involved in a lot of things this year. I think that they're probably going to be favored along with Clemson to win their conference, and I think that they're probably good enough to go to the playoffs. Now, Castellanos, I'm not so certain about. For some reason, they made him look like Mark Starr out there, for crying out loud. So,
and I will say this for those of you that think that the preseason rankings make a lot of sense. Alabama was ranked 8th. Florida State was not ranked at all. Florida State wins the game. PJ and I got this one wrong. PJ keeps a record on the winning side of things to start off the 2025-26 college football season at 6-3, and I dip below at 4-5. Uh-oh. So we are going to make our picks after this fast break. I do want to make a note before we go into our fast break here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, as we're down in the great state of Florida, our second hub of my company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, which has Wake Up Call within it. I do want to let you know that in Week 2, Ohio State jumped from 3-1 after defeating the then number 1 ranked Texas team. So they are now number 1 overall. And when we look beyond that to how the rest of the rankings go, Penn State has jumped to 2. LSU is 3 in the AP, 4 in the coaches poll after defeating Clemson when they were ranked 9th in the nation. Georgia is 4 in the AP, 3 in the coaches poll. Miami is 5, so let's go AP. Miami 5, Oregon. Texas goes from 1 to 7. Clemson goes from 4 to 8. Notre Dame, what did I tell you? Notre Dame was 6th, and I told you they weren't going to drop out of the top 10. And so Notre Dame loses to number 10 Miami. Miami goes to 5. Notre Dame goes from 6 to 9. South Carolina goes up 3 spots in the AP to 10. In the coaches poll, it's Ohio State, Penn State, which is the same, Georgia, LSU, Oregon. Texas is 6, not 7, which I probably agree with that. Miami is 7, not 5. Clemson is at 8. Notre Dame is at 9. Arizona State's at 10, and this was stupid to me. The coaches poll keeps South Carolina out of the top 10, leaving them at 11.
Wow.
That seems
it's
pretty
a good poll.
stupid. And Florida State went from unranked in Week 1 to 14th in the AP, and went from unranked in the coaches poll Week 1 to 19th in the coaches poll. So good to see Florida State in the top 15, at least in the AP. We will take a step aside for a fast break. When PJ and I come back, we will make our college football Week 2 picks, as some teams, like Florida last week, will be playing, I think, a Girl Scout, Girl Scouts of America. I also think one of them is playing a church, and I believe one of them is playing a after-school recess. So we'll talk about all that coming up here right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where He just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Welcome back here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We are on the road in my second home of the great state of Florida. I'm here with Papa Joe here on our Thursday broadcast, the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Go there for sales and service, and make sure you let them know that DT sent you. Monday through Saturday they are open, And you could buy, lease, and look at new and used vehicles by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com, getting a sneak peek of the inventory. And as they are our studio partner, I used their location as my studio right before I came down to Atlanta for the Aflac kickoff doubleheader. And thanks to the entire team that made that possible. And shout out to Mark Zaccaro for getting me my own office at Great Lakes Honda City to do my broadcast with Gary Stokin, President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., overseeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, as well as the Aflac kickoff games that we had over this past weekend. So with that being said, it's time for PJ and I to make our Week 2 picks in the world of college football. So we're going to take a look at the games that we have here for Week 2 in college football. I'm going to ask PJ to pick a Friday night game with tickets as low as $9. That game is the 7 p.m. Eastern Time matchup on ESPN2 between James Madison and Louisville. In his first season at James Madison, their head coach, Bob Chesney, who almost became the head coach of Syracuse, if not for Fran Brown. Bob Chesney had a good season with JMU last year. Louisville, I think, is going to have a good season this year. PJ, what do you have for me? And I think James Madison will as well. Does James Madison upend Louisville in a game that costs less than $10? Or, I mean, that costs less than Disney Plus streaming service on your TV. So what do you got for this one?
Well,
Is it James Madison or Louisville?
I think Louisville's too tough for the James Madison.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Louisville in this game as well. I like James Madison as a spoiler. I do think that Louisville is going to have a good season and vie for good positioning in the ACC. So I'm going to go with Louisville to get this victory up against a James Madison team that can be dangerous. Next one we got here, PJ. Number 11 ranked Illinois will travel on the road. Illinois coming out of the Big Ten to visit ACC's Duke at noon Eastern Time on ESPN. Duke's quarterback is somebody who comes from Tulane last year, known to be one of the top quarterbacks that was in the transfer portal last year after having success at Tulane, Darian Mensah. Your thoughts on this as Duke has a home game? Do they defeat Illinois or does Illinois win?
I don't think so. I think I like Illinois in this game.
So PJ going with the Fighting Illini in this matchup. They're ranked number 11 in the country. I have yet to know why, but I'm going to go with Illinois because they're in the Big Ten. I'm going to go with Illinois in this as well. I do think they'll get a victory here. The next game that I have up, this is a good game, PJ. This is a battle for Texas when Baylor of the Big 12 fights up against SMU of the ACC. SMU is 17th in the nation. They're at home in Dallas, and Baylor will be traveling to them. Your thoughts?
Wow. I like SMU in this game. I think they play well at home. I think Baylor's probably a little bit overrated.
Yeah, so SMU, in my opinion, another team like Louisville that I think is going to be dangerous. I have stated that the ACC championship will be played this year. My preseason prediction was that it will be Clemson versus a team in red, being either SMU or Louisville. I think that Rhett Lashley and his team take care of home and get a victory there as they've embraced Texas, and Texas has embraced them. Next game we have up here, I got to skip through Ohio State playing Grambling State and Georgia playing Austin Peay. But let's go to this game, Oklahoma State at Oregon. Oklahoma State is still in the Big 12. Oregon is in the Big 10, even though they're on the West Coast. How about this, PJ? Oklahoma State unranked, 6th ranked Oregon. This still surprises me. The game's in Eugene, Oregon. Tickets as low as $25.
Well, that's terrible.
What are your thoughts? Because this is, to me, this is a potential big game.
Okay.
So what do you got?
Oregon
and Oklahoma State.
Well, Mike Gundy was talking some junk a little while ago. I don't know what got him aggravated, but it doesn't take much to get Mike Gundy aggravated. He throws a lot of stuff on the board up there for people to look at it and read. Sometimes it backfires on him, and I think it's going to backfire here. I think he's talking a little bit too much junk going to Oregon. I'd like to see Oregon play more. Several years ago, they weren't a fast team. By fast, I mean playing fast.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, they've really turned it up. They got AstroTurf. They got athletes all over the country coming there. They're going to be a force.
PJ going with Oregon in this matchup. I am also going to lean on the side of Oregon. Made the mistake last year of thinking that Oregon was not going to do some good things. I know they got a different quarterback now, but I think that the Oregon Ducks are going to be quacking their way to a win here and move forward past Oklahoma State. Next one we have up, PJ, is a potential trip up here in the SEC. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time game on ABC has the Lane train coming into Kentucky. What do you have for Ole Miss at Kentucky? Ole Miss is ranked. Kentucky is not.
The Lane train has a hell of a quarterback. He's a left-handed guy. He watched Jason Dark for 2 years, and I saw him on a couple of plays last year. He's got an absolute rifle. I apologize, I can't remember his name, but I know he's a hell of a player. Because of that...
Speaking on Austin Simmons.
Yeah, that's who it is, Austin Simmons. Look at Lane is never without talent. And he loves to score 50 points, so let him go.
I will say this, though. Austin Simmons threw 2 interceptions in the blowout Week 1 63-7 victory over Georgia State, so he's got to minimize those.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Ole Miss as well on the road at Kentucky. Although I think Kentucky can play spoiler at times, I'm going to lean on the side of the Lane train, and I'm going to go with Ole Miss in this matchup. And so PJ and I, who don't know who either one is going to pick before we go into this, have now picked all the same up to this point. Let's see if we have any changes here, or any difference. South Florida at Florida Go
Gators.
South Florida is unranked. They blew out Boise State, who's no longer ranked, and I don't know why they were ranked going into the season without Ashton Genty. No offense to anybody else on the team, but kind of shocking. I feel like they put Boise State in there just to put in a quote-unquote group of 5 conference in the top 25, when maybe some other ones like South Florida should have been in there. South Florida wins in a blowout 31-7. The Gators win up against Long Island University, which is a high school. It's a prep school. So, just kidding. So, Florida gets that victory. South Florida, they're both 1-0. Who's 2-0?
This is a potential trip-up game. This South Florida's going to come into the swamp. I know the swamp's going to be rolling, shucking and jiving. Everyone's going to be throwing little oranges all over the place. And DJ Lag, we're going to go crazy and have a good game, I hope. This is really a difficult game for Billy Napier right now. He got absolutely, I don't know what kind of read he got off of last week's defeat of an inferior team. So the team didn't get 100 yards. Okay, but this is a different team. These are different athletes. This is a different schedule. This is very difficult for me. And I'm a Gator by blood, but this, frankly, the way I see it, it's a pickup game. Maybe within 3, maybe Florida up by 3 points or something like that. But I'm going to say I like the Gators, mainly because it's their first game this year in the swamp, and it's the first game for DJ Lagway to really go at it.
I made the mistake last week. I will not make that mistake again. I'm going with Alex Golish and South Florida to get the victory in Gainesville, traveling up from Tampa. And Byram Brown, their dual threat quarterback, who had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown in his game against Boise State for the win. I'm picking them to start 2-0. You heard it here first.
Okay.
Goalish. How about this one, PJ? Your alma mater of Bethune-Cookman going on the road to Miami.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, BCC doesn't have the players. They don't have the athletic department to keep playing these kinds of. So I'm sure that there's going to be a little bit of money changed hands. Yeah. Miami will prevail, certainly. I just hope it's not that bad. I want BC to actually show something, you know.
Alabama going, I'm going to go with Miami as well in this game over Bethune-Cookman. And so I got them having the victory, so I'll go ahead and put that in here. So far, PJ and I are only 1 game of difference. And I just want to let everybody know, Alabama, who was ranked 8th after losing to Florida State, fell down to 21st and they have a tough matchup this week against University of Louisiana Monroe.
Oh, for crying out loud.
So, next game, I'm obviously kidding. This is a game that I want to talk with you about, PJ. This game, Arizona State, who is coming off the hype of last year, although they don't have Cam Scatterbo anymore, they're ranked 12th in the nation. They're traveling to Mississippi State in a game that will feature the Arizona State Big 12 team, which is weird to say, against the SEC's Mississippi State. Who wins?
I think Arizona State is in for some real trouble here. I think Mississippi State's got a good defense. I think they play up to it. I think they win the game.
So PJ going with Mississippi State. I am going to go with Arizona State to get this victory. I'm going to see what they got going on here early on this season. I'm on the fence as far as what they can be, but I'm going to pick Arizona State, at least in this game, to get the victory on the road. College game day
Yep.
will be in Oklahoma
Yep.
when Michigan of the Big Ten takes on the SEC's Oklahoma, which I still think is in the Big 12. Michigan is 15th in the country. Oklahoma is 18th. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Their tickets as low as $217, not $9, folks. So if you'd like to go to this game, by the way, if you want to see Southern Illinois play Purdue, that's $6. So Michigan and Oklahoma, tickets, the low ones, $217. Everything else, Lord only knows how high those can go. What do you think about Michigan going on the road to Oklahoma? Michigan beat New Mexico in Week 1, 34-17. In that Michigan game, we saw their quarterback, Bryce Underwood, 21 of 31, 1 touchdown, no picks, 251 yards. Justice Haynes on the ground, 3 rushing touchdowns, 16 carries, 159 yards, just shy of 10 yards a carry, averaging about a first down up against New Mexico. Marlon Klein led the receiving corps with 93 yards on 6 catches, the only receiving touchdown. And we look at the fact that Samaj Morgan was able to grab a fumble there, and Michigan had 3 sacks against New Mexico. So that's on one side of it. For the home team, for the Oklahoma Boomer Sooner, we look on their side of things in this college game day matchup. And in this matchup between the two teams for college game day, we're looking at an Oklahoma team that is also 1-0 this season. They beat Illinois State 35-3. And in their matchup, John Mateer, he went 30 of 37, 392 yards. It looks like an NFL quarterback. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Torrey Blaylock, 8 carries, 44 yards and a touchdown. Mateer added a rushing touchdown, going 3.4 yards a carry on 7 carries, 24 yards. Keontez Lewis, over 100 yards receiving, 9 catches, 119, 2 touchdowns. And Jaron Canuck had 90 yards on 5 catches. Deion Burks had a touchdown for Oklahoma. And as far as fumbles go, they lost one. They did not gain any fumbles in the game. They had 2 sacks on Illinois State defensively. So what do you have for college game day, Michigan or the home Oklahoma?
I think Michigan's going for a rude awakening here. I think that Oklahoma is prepped for this game. I think they got the better athletes, and I think we're going to see how poor Michigan really is.
I'm going to change the song up a little bit. Oklahoma, where the Michigan Wolverines go losing on Saturday. I'm going with Oklahoma in this one to get the victory, and I am going with Boomer Sooner. The last game that we're going to do, P to the Jizzle J, Edgar Twizzle, for Week 2 of college football 2025-26 season, will see us go to my hometown of Syracuse, Nueva York. We'll be up there for an old Big East matchup when UConn takes on Syracuse in the Dome. It is Steve Angeli's first time in front of the fans, and I am sad to say that it is the cheapest ticket that I've seen for college football Week 2. You can go to the Dome for $4.
Oh, come on.
To see UConn. But how about this? You can't even buy a soda in the Dome for $4.
Jeez,
so you can get a
terrible.
ticket to go in that costs less than a soda, a beer, a slice of pizza, parking. The cheapest ticket that you have, or the cheapest thing that you're going to pay for, is the game itself in the Dome. That's insane. That game, UConn at Syracuse, UConn is one of 2 teams that is independent. How about this? Could they say this before? They got a better record than the other independent, Notre Dame. They're 1-0. Notre Dame is 0-1. Syracuse is 0-1. You got UConn. Could they be 2-0? Will Syracuse get their first win with Steve Angeli in his first home game at Syracuse? And keep in mind, last year, this was not the second game of the season. It was the second to last game of the season. And UConn gave Syracuse all they possibly could, and Syracuse won the game 31-24. UConn returns two players that had a good day against Syracuse last season. Those that they return in this game are going to be their quarterback, Joe Fagnano, as well as their running back, Cam Edwards, who had a 71-yard touchdown run in the Dome last year. What do you think, PJ?
I can't see Syracuse losing this game. I think that they'll be pumped up after last game against Tennessee. I think they have the superior athletes. I think Angeli is really going to settle in. He's going to do a good job for your team, and I look for them to really pump it up.
Well, I'll tell you this, PJ. If they don't get the victory, Lord knows what's going to happen here. I'm going with Syracuse to get the win over the UConn Huskies, the Orange, moving forward. So PJ and I are the same in every game that we picked, except for Florida and UCF and Mississippi State and Arizona State. PJ picked the home team in those games. I picked the road team. We'll see what happens, and we will take a step aside for a fast break. When PJ and I come back, we will wrap up the broadcast here as we give you our first NFL picks of the 2025-26 season. PJ and I will pick the NFL right after this fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Make sure to stay with us.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Find your way over there Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and Sundays from 10 to 5. Here on the show, I talk about players and teams that we love to watch, we love to see. But when you go to GG Cards and Breaks, you can get close to them. You could bring home their autograph, their relic card. You can also, find potential one-of-ones and so much more when it comes to GG Cards and Breaks. That's what I love about it, is I talk about sports on the show, discuss these players and these teams, then I go to GG Cards and Breaks and I open up packs and boxes that could have those players and those teams within them. So make sure you head over there today for singles, graded cards, packs, boxes, and more, including everything to protect your cards, showcase them, and travel with them at GG Cards and Breaks. Not just sports, but also Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Find them at 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Many thanks to the new Chick-fil-A DeWitt on Bridge in Erie that is heading toward 1 month of being open, believe it or not, already a month. With Megan Sorber and her team, they are nestled amongst a bunch of high schools, colleges, and universities in central New York. And why is that important? Because they have so many of those students working at Chick-fil-A DeWitt, and they are led by Megan Sorber, owner-operator, who worked at a Chick-fil-A when she was a student. So not only is she training you, but she went through those same pieces, those same elements at the same time in her life. So to have a former student team member now be your owner-operator of Chick-fil-A, she can now follow these students and student-athletes through their stories while she has a story to tell herself. And I love that leadership and the fact that she can connect so closely and parallel them. Head out to Chick-fil-A DeWitt today. Let them know that DT sent you to the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they're always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios and on the road here in the great state of Florida in the second home that I have personally and the second hub of my company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. I'm here with Papa Joe, and our final task here for this Saturday is to do something we've done for many years, but it's the first time we're doing it for this season. The 2025-26 NFL season is officially, believe it or not, starting, and PJ and I have picks to make going all through what's going to be tonight here on Thursday, as Thursday Night Football will open up. There's a bunch of divisional matchups right out of the gate, including the entire NFC East playing within their division. The Thursday night game, which will be tonight, PJ, September 4th, right here, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, NBC and Peacock. Dallas at Philly. What do you got?
Oh, I love Philly. I know Dallas is having a lot of problems, typically with their owner. He's an absolute jerk. I don't know. He's a brilliant guy. I guess he makes a lot of money. He builds his stadiums. He does this. He does that. But when it comes time to negotiating, to try to keep his assets, he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So what does he do? He lets the best defensive player in the league go to another team. Now, if you were a multi-billionaire and you run a big enterprise like Jerry Jones does, what's the problem with that?
Right. Well, I mean, I think when it comes down to it and you look at this, Jerry Jones makes a lot of money, but the decisions when it comes to the games themselves, when it comes to the personnel that he has and what he brings in, it's been a head scratcher for many, many years. Since the 90s, the last time they won a Super Bowl. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game at home as the Cowboys continue to make me scratch my head because I don't understand what Jerry's doing. Last year, they made history by having a Friday night football game played in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That was Green Bay and Philly. This year, on Friday, September 5th, Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers will face off in an in-division AFC West matchup in Sao Paulo, Brazil, to keep Brazil in Corinthians Arena on the schedule for yet another year. Kansas City, LA Chargers. What do you got, PJ?
I don't know if I want to watch any football from Brazil, for crying out loud. I got to go with the Chiefs. The Chargers, Bobby Hebert, he's got strong arm and everything, but I think that Pat Mahomes has got a few more tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, I think Pat Mahomes is going to be all right. Mahomes and the crew getting a victory here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I think the Chargers got some talent. They definitely brought some good people in. And shout out to some Syracuse love on their roster. But I'm going to go with Kansas City and Pat Mahomes to get the victory in what is considered a road game for them. But both teams will be in Brazil. Then Sunday, we'll have our 1 o'clock games in division. The Bucks at the Falcons. PJ, what do you got?
Bucks and the Falcons. I don't have that one. Bucks and the Falcons. I think Baker Mayfield continues to shine. He's still got outside weapons that he uses. He's got a good running game. He's always had a good defense. He's sort of like a mini Pat Mahomes. He loves to win. He knows how to win.
Yeah.
He throws. He runs. He does everything. He's the consummate professional. I just love him.
PJ going with Baker Mayfield and Tampa. I'm also going to go with Tampa in this matchup, although let it be known that I have stated, and I will state even more so now, I think Atlanta's in good hands with Michael Penix Jr. and blocking for him, Syracuse offensive line alum who I spent some time with in Atlanta at his stadium, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, during the Aflac kickoff, that being Matt Bergeron, who hails from Canada. Go recruit your Canadian players into the NFL and for college football in the States. So shout out to Michael Penix, Matt Bergeron, and the team. I think Atlanta will be more electrifying on offense, but I got Baker Mayfield with just a little bit more in this. This game is always good and it's always close. However, sometimes it's low scoring and sometimes it's in the 30s. Cincinnati at Cleveland, PJ. What do you have?
I think Cleveland's a mess. Joe Burrow, outside of Lamar Jackson and maybe Allen, is the best quarterback in the league. He talks the talk and he walks the walk. He's got fabulous receivers.
So PJ going to go with Cincinnati?
Yes, I am.
And I'm also going to go with Cincinnati in this. We do know that Cleveland has one less quarterback of the 12 that they decided to have on their roster. I'm kidding. They have a bunch on their roster, currently 4, but they do not have Kenny Pickett anymore as they traded him to the Las Vegas Raiders. There it is. I'm going with Cincinnati in this game on the road. Miami at Indianapolis. We know Daniel Jones is the new quarterback of the Colts, ousting Anthony Richardson, and Tua Tagovailoa comes in to Indy from Miami, leading his team. Thoughts on this one?
This is a quarterback conundrum here. I don't know if Daniel Jones is ready to do this. Yeah. I thought he was a pretty good quarterback when he was in New York. I don't think they gave him the right shot. So, that being said, I think that Cleveland's a mess. So I think we almost have to go with...
we got Miami and the Colts.
Miami. I think
so
we have to go
Miami?
Yep.
So PJ going with Miami in this one. I'm also going to go with the Miami Dolphins to get this victory on the road. So I'm picking Miami as Indy has to figure out their quarterback situation.
Right.
However, they do have a nice rookie tight end that you like to hope they'll get the ball to. I'm already looking at him as one of the top rookie performers this season, and Tyler Warren going from Penn State to the Colts, which means that he didn't have to do anything with his jersey. He just had to put a little horseshoe on his helmet. Next one that we have up, the Las Vegas Raiders. And then we have the New England Patriots at home. Drake May, I believe, will have a better season this season, and Vegas is led by Geno Smith for the first time ever. Gardner Minshew is now in Kansas City, not with Vegas. What do you have, PJ?
Mike Vrabel coming alive for New England.
Yeah, predicted he would be the coach 2 years ago. They finally did it this past year.
They did. I think he's got enough to do it. I don't know what Las Vegas. Geno Smith. I've never been a Geno Smith fan, but Pete Carroll is there and he wants the guy. He wins with the guy, so he's going to keep him. But I think that the majority of the talent, and certainly on the quarterback side, is going to be with New England.
Yeah, I'm going with New England in this matchup as well. Like I said, I think with Mike Vrabel and Drake May coming into this season off of his rookie season, I think there's going to be some good things here. Stephon Diggs is now a Patriot, and hopefully he'll be healthy for this matchup. But I got New England in the game. By the way, look out for Travion Henderson, Ohio State national champion in the first 12-team college football playoff, and he is a running back that may be seen in this game more so with Ramondre Stevenson on the injury report, and God willing, he'll be okay. Arizona at New Orleans. New Orleans decided of the 42 quarterbacks they had to start Spencer Rattler over Tyler Shuck, who they drafted. Thoughts on Arizona at New Orleans, PJ?
Well, Arizona, Tyler, I remember that him playing for South Carolina. He was a little jitterbug kind of player, Ratliff.
Oh yeah, Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler. He did a good job. He scored a lot of touchdowns. I think he may have enough to win this game.
So PJ going to go with New Orleans in this one, and I put it up on the screen as something PJ likes to say. No. And I'm going to go. Oh, this is a tough one for me to pick. I'm going to have to go with Arizona on the road and say that Kyler Murray and them can pull it off. New Orleans makes no sense. Sometimes they score, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they play well at home, sometimes they don't. So I'm going with Arizona in this because New Orleans to me is a question mark at this point. The Aaron Rodgers Bowl will feature Pittsburgh going to MetLife, New York Jets they will be visiting. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is not only going to have a good season, I think he's going to make Jets fans really upset that his good season out of Green Bay doesn't come with them. It comes with Pittsburgh. What do you have, PJ?
Oh, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think this is a flick'em game. This is a pick'em game.
And keep in mind, Justin Fields is now the quarterback of the Jets, so they switched quarterbacks.
I like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm going with Pitt in this one. I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to have the season that I think he's going to have a season to remember here with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mike Tomlin.
And I think it's going to be a beautiful thing for Pitt, and I think it's, again, going to make a lot of head-scratching moments for Jets fans, which I feel bad about. Next one, we have the New York Football Giants, and Russ the Bus Wilson will be going into town and parking that bus in the home of Jaden Mother-freaking Daniels, who now has Deebo Samuel in his receiving corps to join Scary Terry McLaurin. What do you have, PJ?
Mr. Daniels really opened my eyes last year. He did a hell of a job. Frankly, I didn't think he had it, but he's sort of like a skinny Lamar Jackson. He's got a big arm, moves well, and the big thing about Daniels is, with most quarterbacks, is he thinks well. You got to think to play this game. You just can't go out there and run and raise hell. You got to think about it, and I think he's learning to do that.
Yeah, PJ going with the Washington Commanders. I'm also going to go all in on the Commanders here. I got a good feeling about them this season, and my early prediction, Washington Buffalo, that I said within the last couple months here to make it to the championship game. Carolina at Jacksonville, the battle of the cats of the wild, as the Panthers and the Jaguars came in to the NFL at the same time in 1995.
Wow.
Who wins this game?
Oh, Jack's up favored by 3.5 points. I think that's enough. I think Jax wins it easy.
Yeah, I got the Jaguars winning this game. I hope that Bryce Young has a better season and shows that he can command this offense, and I hope his offensive line gives him time. I am going with Jacksonville, though, and I'll be watching Carolina closely, you better believe it, but I think the Jaguars will win at home. Tennessee at Denver. Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick, will have an opportunity to debut in the NFL for a game that counts, where the guy that you and I were both high on, you first, then me,
Yep.
We both called him to get drafted by Denver, 13th overall. We were correct, and I predicted he would have the second best rookie season at quarterback in 2024 of all 2024 quarterbacks, behind only Jaden Daniels. And I believe that at the end of it all, when you look back on it, I was right about Jaden and right about Bo. You were definitely right about Bo, and you turned me on to him first. Does Bo win this game against Cam Ward? What happens?
Bo does. I think Denver's about ready to rip it loose here. They've had a couple of shoddy seasons here. I think Bo's the man.
I'm going to say it very simply put as this: Bo knows.
Bo's
going to get.
I like that.
Bo's going to get the victory for Denver. Watch out for that defense that I think will definitely give Cam Ward some trouble in his first NFL game as he gets his footing. But please, folks, in a microwave society, understand that rookie quarterbacks, including number 1 overall picks, take time. Peyton Manning took time. Cam Ward will take time. He's playing a good defense in Denver. This might get ugly. Do not write him off.
Right.
San Francisco at Seattle. This will feature Brock Purdy going up against Seattle with new quarterback Sam Darnold and the 12th man in Seattle, Washington. These tickets are, the lowest price is over $230. What do you got for this one, PJ? Our first 4 o'clock game.
I like
second one.
I like San Francisco in this game. I think that Brock Purdy certainly is the one to carry them through. He was thought of very highly. They gave him a chance.
Yeah.
He was unranked. He was also ran, and he came in like gangbusters. He's a winner. He reminds me of Bart Starr. That's what he reminds me of.
Disrespected, unloved,
Right.
underappreciated, found a way to win. And now, as we look forward, I believe that San Fran will get this victory as well. Seattle is without Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf for the first time ever. And both of Tyler Lockett is now a Titan. DK Metcalf is now a Steeler. So the next one we have up here, Detroit at Green Bay, Battle of the NFC North. PJ, what do you got? The cheapest ticket to this game, Detroit to Green Bay, is almost $300 to get a cheap ticket.
Well, Jordan Love is supposed to have his best year so far, but you can't beat Detroit. I think that they got too much. Too much.
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit over Green Bay.
I love it, coach, too.
Yeah, I do too. Dan Campbell, I'm going with Detroit to get the victory here. A dangerous team that is definitely not happy with last season. Houston at the Los Angeles Rams. Houston, C.J. Stroud has Nico Collins. He has Nick Chubb in the backfield now, a former Brown, where the Los Angeles Rams are playing without Cooper Kupp for the first time ever. Devontae Adams is there in his first season as a Ram. He will join Puka Nacua. What do you have, PJ? Houston at L.A. Rams.
I think L.A. loves this kind of game. I think they have a wide open offense now. I'm sorry Cooper Kupp is there, but he's playing for someone else. And, I don't know who he went with, but he's going to be missed. But I like L.A.
He's Seattle now.
Is he?
So same division. I'm going with the L.A. Rams for Matt Stafford to throw it all over the yard in this game. Sunday Night Football, the first one of the 2025-26 NFL season. We'll see Baltimore at Buffalo. I love this game as a fan, and I don't love this game for both teams because they'll have film on how to beat each other when they typically see each other in the playoffs. Who do you have, Baltimore or Buffalo?
This is the game of the week right here. This is a pick'em game, I think 1.5 points, which doesn't mean anything when you're gambling.
Yeah.
This game showcases the two probably best quarterbacks in the AFL. Lamar Jackson's finally becoming a quarterback that I think he could have been, and he's not running as much. Please don't run. Okay, please don't run. But I'm going to go with Buffalo.
PJ's going to go with Buffalo in this game. Buffalo fans, don't get mad at me. I think Baltimore Sunday night, I got to lean on them a little bit here in a close game. I'm thinking 27-23, 28-23, 28-21, somewhere in that world. Monday Night Football, first one of the season. Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy after he was out his entire rookie season. This is kind of his rookie season. And he has Adam Thielen returning to Minnesota after a trade that happened after preseason with Carolina. So Thielen is there, Justin Jefferson is there, Jordan Addison is suspended. And on the other side, Chicago, I believe Caleb Williams is going to have the opposite of a sophomore slump and will have a better season. He has Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift in the crew. What do you got for Minnesota at Chicago?
This is probably a Chicago game because they're coming at home. But I think that JJ is going to grow up. I think this is his first game. I think he's going to grow up. He's going to grow up fast.
Yeah, so you got JJ in this one?
Minnesota.
So PJ going with JJ McCarthy getting this victory. I'm going to go with the hometown Chicago Bears. I think they're going to sneak one out. I know my buddy Jeff Lonzak's going to be happy with me here as he is the Central New York resident Bears fan. I'm going to pick the Bears to win this game, and I think there's just a little bit too much on their side, and I'm going to give them some love at home, although I am very excited to see J.J. McCarthy have himself a full-on season. So with that being said, those are our picks. We are sticking to them, and that is week one of the NFL that is now in the books here for PJ and I as we make our NFL week one picks for the 2025-26 season. And with that being said, from the great state of Florida, I want to thank Papa Joe for being here with me inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. As PJ and I thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both / WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Of course, once we go live, we jump into Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, so many, PJ, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure to follow and subscribe. And of course, many thanks to our incredible team of partners in Central and Upstate New York, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Game Point Sports Complex on 211 South Center Street in East Syracuse, as well as right down the road from them, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Pizza Man Brian's Landing, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, And I also want to give a special thanks to Chick-fil-A DeWitt. And I want to show some love for Myers Creek Brewing Company in Cazenovia, as well as the Syracuse Inner Harbor, Avicoli's, and of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner. And GG Cards a break, so I didn't say that. The exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Check out the Bobcats every single month in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership called the Bobcat Buzz. You'll find student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni throughout the year. You can find it all by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and on their newly tooled BSC Syracuse page that you'll find underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every Tuesday during Bearcat Time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. Student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni call Wake Up Call home. You can find all of our content with Binghamton by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find the Binghamton playlist. You also find the Bearcats on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab and their Binghamton page that is extremely interactive. Go check it out today. For more information, go to BinghamtonBearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers call Wake Up Call home in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with OCC. The Laser Lounge is every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Next one coming up on September 17th, the birthday of my first two dogs up in heaven, Mordew and Cinnamon, who I love very much. You'll find student athletes, coaches, and administration joining me here in the Laser Lounge every other Wednesday each month, and you can find our content by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the OCC playlist, and the Lasers are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to OnondagaLasers.com and go Lasers. From the Lando Lagoon, PJ, you get the final word. What do you want to say?
Nice to be here, Daniel. It's always fun to have you around. You and Joe are going to have a lot of fun tonight, so go to it.
Yeah, happy to have it. Find us all the time on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, and the Instagrams at WakeUpCall_DT. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say God bless, no stress, do your best, have a wonderful day, and know that God loves you.